Hello everyone and welcome back to Arctic Retro, and in today's video I'm going to take you through a tour of my Laser 200 and all its equipment. So the Laser 200 from VTech is actually a special machine for me, because that was in fact the first microcomputer that I ever had, and I got it I think around 1983. And that was the computer that started the whole thing for me and led up to my career as a professional now, and also led up to my interest for old retro computers later on. So as you can see, I have the computer and a lot of equipment for it, and I will go through everything, and it might take 2 episodes. We'll see how it goes. So before I start, let's take a closer look on what I've got here. So this is the actual computer, the little Laser 200 from VTech. VTech is a Hong Kong-based electronics company, originally called Video Technology Limited, and they still exist, I think. And they have mainly produced toys or learning toys for kids, but they also made a line of computers. And one of those computers is this, the Laser 200. I will come back with the details about this machine later. They also made an Apple II clone called the Laser 128. So this is not the original equipment that I had back in the day. I sold that machine in the 80s and I moved over to Commodore 64. So let's take a look what we got. Here's a Laser PP40 printer plotter, couple of game controllers or joysticks, a little bit yellowed. One of those, and half the other is very yellowed. Here's a DI40 floppy disk controller. And here is a cassette player. This is the actual machine. It is a 4 kilobyte RAM machine and it has 16K of ROM. Over here is a floppy drive, DD20 floppy disk drive from Laser. I wasn't aware that they had made that, but inside here is a price list and some user's manual in Norwegian. More tapes and games. And finally I got the 64K RAM expansion module and the PI20 printer interface. So as you can see, there's a lot to explore here, and back in the day when I had the Laser 200 I only had the cassette player and the joysticks. Yeah, and I think I had the 16K memory expansion. The Laser 200 was manufactured by the Hong Kong-based Video Technology Limited in 1983, but it was sold as different other brands like the Salora Fellow, Seltron 200 and the Smith VZ200. The machine wasn't very popular in the UK, where it competed with the ZX Spectrum. It was a little bit more popular in other European countries and the US. But the most popularity was in Australia and New Zealand. The machine runs on a Zilog Z80 clone made by NEC as a CPU, and the RAM was different from different versions. It initially had 4 kilobytes of RAM only and 16 kilobytes of ROM. It came with a built-in BASIC 2.0, which was a version of the Microsoft BASIC 2. For video, the machine uses the Motorola 6847 video processor that has 2 kilobytes of video memory. That can produce a resolution 256 by 192 for text mode or 128 by 64 for graphics mode. For sound, it uses a piezo speaker and it has very simple sound capabilities. You can connect different peripherals like a cassette recorder, floppy drive, a printer, etc. In Australia, it actually sold around 200,000 machines, and it was discontinued in 1985. Okay, a lot of things to cover, and this will be a demonstration or exploration video, maybe a little bit restoration, but as you can see, the equipment looks very nice and clean. I doubt there is a lot to do. Okay, I'm gonna take this step by step. I'm first gonna set up the computer, turn it on, and check out some games and see if we can load anything. I also want to try and see if I can load games or software from SD card on this machine. Not sure if I can, but we'll see about that. So here is the machine, and it looks very nice and clean. Also got the power supply and the necessary cables, and of course the user's manual. There's a instruction manual for basic, how to learn basic in Norwegian, and then there's a basic reference manual. Very nice. And I think in the other bag there was a user's manual. Yeah, here's a thin user's manual in English, how to set it up, and in Norwegian. Nice. Interesting, here is a price list, and I think this was for the vendors, because it has the net price and then the seller's price, and it's date 1st of September 1983. So all these prices are in Norwegian kroners, but you can divide by 10 and you get dollar and euros around that. So 1,300 for the computer. The 64K memory expansion costs almost the same, 1,095. And the plotter actually cost a lot more than the computer. So yeah, that was kind of special. Then software, games and different programs, 98 for each of those. And here's a little funny item in this. It looks like someone has had a programming test, because it has a lot of questions about different, looks like DOS commands or CPM, I'm not sure. And yeah, the student has answered. He got an M-. I think the machine looks very cool. It has a very nice and small size, of course, much like the ZX Spectrum, but it's a little bit bigger, I think. And it also has this rubber keyboard that was not very nice to type on, but it works. On the back side it has different connections. It has for the cassette, DC input, and it actually has a composite video out, expansion port, and there's some peripherals, so we might have to open that. And it also has a RF TV out and a power switch. So let's hook this up and see if it works. As usual, when testing old power supplies, I measure the voltage first. So this should be 9 volt DC. Well, it is it is a bit high, but I think that's okay. But just to make sure, I'm going to use another one that is more close to 9 volts. This one is a modern one. I have used it for my ZX Spectrum, and it should be a little bit less. Yeah, that's exactly 9 volts, so we're good there. And it is center positive. Yeah, that's correct. So 15 volts might probably not hurt the machine, but the voltage regulator will then be a lot much hotter than it has to be, so over time it can be hurtful. I hooked up the composite video output. Let's see now. Yeah, there it is. Video Technology Basic V2. So this looks a lot like the boot screen on the Dragon 32 and 64 machines, and probably is because the same basic, and it came from Microsoft, I guess, as most machines had back in the day. But the color choice, I'm not so sure about that. Green with grey text. I remember back in the day when I had the machine that the picture quality was pretty poor on my very old TV. Let me just try and type a little basic program. It beeps for each key, and the space is just a small key over here. Run. Wow! You hit Control Break to stop the program. On this machine, it's not like the ZX Spectrum machine that you type just a couple of letters on each command. Here you have to type every letter on every command. I'm gonna hook up the cassette player, and it has its own power supply, and I measured this one. It was actually 9 volts, so it's safe. And then it has 3 ports here, one for mic, one for remote, and one for ear, but I only got one cable, so I guess yeah, it's for the ear output or the audio output. If I want to record, then I have to switch. Cassette player looks very nice and clean. I'm gonna test this demonstration tape, see what's on that. And now we're running without the memory expansion. I think the command for loading is C load, waiting, play, and it plays. Nice. Yeah, T demo. Okay, so without the remote cable it won't stop automatically, so you have to watch it and stop it manually. Let's see now if we list this program. Okay, so that's just a command for loading more. Waiting, loading, welcome. So there are 2 operating modes, text mode and graphic mode. Wait a minute and I will show you all of them one by one, okay? Continuing, I'm just pressing the pause button on the cassette drive. So there's all the characters. So it's a bit like the Petsky characters on the Commodore machines, but not as many. Bar chart. Enter amount for 5 items. Yeah, okay. Alright, that's nice. Nice little bar chart. So now we're gonna see some graphics. You can plot, okay. So that's the graphics mode, and the picture looks pretty terrible now, but well, yellow on green. So that's the 8 different colors. And you can see the color bleeding between each color and movement. So the graphic circuitry needs a little bit adjustment here, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm gonna switch to RF out now and see how that looks. Okay, that's RF. Yeah, it's just as bad and a little bit unstable, and the color are more washed out, and the picture gets smaller. So let's compare to SCART. Much brighter colors at least. And now it's drawing some straight lines. Okay, so now we can draw. The error correction on this program is not very good. Okay, so now we can use the keys to draw. Yeah, that works. Change the color. End of tape. Okay, I skipped a few bits here, but now you've seen some of the capabilities, and I remember back in the day when I had this machine, I had no game that ran in machine code. I only had the text-based basic games, and that became a little bit boring, so I tried to write my own games, but not in machine code. That was way too complicated back then. I didn't have any documentation or anything to use and to learn that. So now I'm gonna try one of the game cassettes that came with the machine, and this one, Dynasty, it says 16K RAM required, so we need to add the RAM expansion. And here's the 64K RAM expansion, so that needs to go in the back. It quickly builds up with a lot of cables, and you need a lot of desk space. So this is the first time I test this cassette recorder, and it seems to be working just fine. I have powered up the machine once before, so I knew it was working. So C run. And actually I think there are shortcuts to most of the basic commands because they are printed over here. Let's try Control G. Yeah, that's go to. I haven't tested any of these tapes before, so I don't know if they're working or not. We'll see. No, that obviously don't want to load. I have been waiting for a very long time now. Let's try another one. Okay, I tried another tape, and now it's loading Hangman 2. And that loaded just fine. Let's see the instructions. So this is obviously a basic game, judging by the speed of the drawing. So it has sound as well. But that yellow on light green is an awful combination. That music is really bad, and it's not on tune. Not correct. An E then. Yeah, E was correct. L. Okay, so we have two E's and one L. Okay, we have K-E-L-E. Maybe it's a kettle. Yes. Just gonna peek at the program. Alright, I'm not gonna bore you with more of those poor basic games. Now it's time to take a look inside the machine and the cassette recorder. Obviously the machine has only one cassette connection, so this cannot utilize the remote control of the cassette drive. That was probably used by more advanced lasers, I guess. I have no idea if this machine has ever been opened before, but we'll find out soon. And I'm gonna open it up and we can take a look inside. It actually says no user serviceable parts inside, refer servicing to qualified service personnel. So I'm not really sure if I am qualified, but I'm gonna try anyway. And it has a channel selector between channel 4 and 3. So let's see if we can open this without breaking anything. Yeah, it has a flat cable for the keyboard, obviously. And that one is soldered in, so not easy to remove then. And I don't want to put too much pressure on it, so that's a little bit of an issue. I'll try and support it with something in the back. This is the inside, and it looks very simple, and it has this massive shield here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna remove that. Maybe I should do it just to take a peek inside and see if we can see the CPU. This runs a Z80 CPU, big capacitor here. Then we have this large heatsink going from the voltage regulator. It's a 7805 5-volt regulator, extends all the way here. The CPU is right underneath. Just gonna shine a light on it, and yeah, there's not much else going on. There's just a bunch of resistors and diodes and a couple of capacitors. So this is a really simple design. This is probably the video circuitry. The machine is very clean inside. There's not even dust here, so I'm not really sure if this machine has ever been used or just stored from new. Seems pretty unused to me. And I can see anything wrong, no corrosion, no bulging or leaking capacitors. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it like it is. I'm not gonna try and disassemble it more. But one thing I'm gonna try is try to adjust some of the adjustable capacitors and resistors here and see if that helps to improve the picture stability. I have zoomed in a bit now. Let's see if we can adjust anything here. That's the brightness. There is some changes, but still a little bit flickering. I think that looks quite a lot better. And if I turn this one, it's a potentiometer, I guess. It suddenly changes color dramatically. Oops. Oh. No, that looks like a Commodore 64. Can't have that. Okay, I think that's a good improvement. It might be hard to see on the video, but now the picture is almost completely stable. No shivering and flickering as I had before. So that's an improvement. Next, I'm gonna take a look inside the cassette recorder and see if there's anything we can clean up. At least I want to clean the heads. Okay, so I think the bottom cover comes off. Maybe some clips. Always tricky with new stuff. Yeah, that's it. A little bit dust and dirt on this one, but it looks to be in very nice condition. I'm just gonna blow away a little bit of dust. And the mechanism, yeah, it seems like a simple one. It's very large compared to, for example, the Commodore cassette drives. Has this wide belt, and the belt looks good. So there isn't much to do here actually. I'm just gonna clean off the heads, and that's it. And to reach the other side, there's 4 screws holding the whole mechanism to the upper part of the case. The contacts on the outside is screwed in with a ring on the outside. I'm not gonna take those off. Just gonna see if I can lift up this whole thing, or maybe there's more to it than I thought. Yeah, in fact, pressing the eject button released the thing. And there's this plastic here. There we go. A little bit of old grease and dust. Just gonna clean a little bit with some IPA. Just gonna clean off the heads. This is the read and write head that reads and write analog data to the tape. This is the eraser head, and then we have this roller here, a little bit brown, so I think this has been used a little bit. Yeah, but all in all, this is in a very good condition, so nothing to worry about there. Only thing that can happen over time is, of course, the belts can start to disintegrate that rubber. So no need to do anything else. An easy job. So let's see if I can get this back. Oh, little dirty fingers. Alright, that was the inspection of the inside of these two devices. I'm just gonna test now if everything still works, and testing that game that couldn't load. And look at that, now it actually loads Dynasty Derby. So could be that it's because I cleaned the heads, but maybe it's just a coincidence. Well, now it says loading error, so maybe this tape is not good then. Hey, it loaded. Okay, the Dynasty Derby. Enter your name, horse, and the amount you wager, up to 6 players. My name is Tommy. I'm gonna select horse number 5 because that's my birthday. I'm gonna bet 10 Norwegian krone. So player number 2. No, okay, so that's some terrible graphics. Okay, well, I am number 5 and seems to have got a bad start here. This game runs slowly. Well, it's basic, so no wonder. Maybe there's a few machine code routines inside. Okay, we've been through the machine and some poor games, and I actually now am gonna check out some downloaded games. There is actually a small community out there for this machine, and I think it was much more popular in Australia and New Zealand, and they had the same machine, but it was called the VZ200. And I also got invited into a Facebook group that is dedicated to this machine. So let me see if I can find some better games for this, and maybe some that uses the joysticks, because I haven't tested those. And by the way, this machine comes from a Norwegian collector. He had a lot of computers and games consoles from back in the day, and he suddenly sold everything, and another Norwegian guy bought the whole collection, and I think he paid like 150,000 NOK or 15,000 euros. And then he started to sell out the different machines, so I got this for a reasonable amount. And everything was very nicely packed into plastic bags, and everything looked very neat and clean. So that collector has obviously been taking care of his things. The best place to find software for the Laser 200 and the other 200 branded machines are on the VTech200.org site. And here you can find a lot of information about everything about this machine, and in the software section there is download links for a lot of tools and yeah, different kind of games and all sorts of files, and there's even a complete bundle with everything in a 50 megabyte zip file, and I have already downloaded that. And that's here. There's a readme file and yeah, everything you need from utilities to basic games and binary games, disk images, demos. Here's everything you need. So I'm gonna find a collection of games now that I wanna test with the machine. I copied a few games and some demos to a SD card, and I'm gonna test with this SVI CAS and see if I can use that one. Of course, it doesn't support the actual machine directly, but some of these are very similar, so my hope is it can play. I don't know if it can play back VC files, but I'll test. Just gonna try now. Laser. Let's select Invaders. Now it says not supported, so that does unfortunately not work with this. Let's try this one then, the Maxduino. Let's see if I can use this. I just booted it, and let's try helicopter demo. No, not a TCX file, so can't use that. What about this one then? No, cannot play. Alright, so none of the players I have can be used with those files, the VC files or VSet. However, somebody has already made a player for that. It costs $40. I don't have it, of course, so the only option is to use WAV files, and to do that there is a VSet to WAV program that can convert these files into WAV files, and then they can be played directly from a computer or a phone. I found this program VSet to WAV, which is a Windows version of the tool for DOS. I got this from the Facebook group I mentioned, and here we select the sample rate for the output. I'm just gonna use the defaults. By the way, if you find the VSet to WAV for DOS, you can't run it on a modern Windows machine. You have to use DOS box or any other DOS emulating software that you can find. So let's see, now we have the laser folder, and now I can only select one at a time. Checksum OK. Just gonna convert these quickly. So now that I have WAV files on the SD card, this can play off those. Or if you don't have a device like that, you can try and play them off from your phone or another computer. So let's see, this should be a machine code program, I think. Let's try something simple first. I type crun and I select this file, play. It says waiting, and now it's playing. Yeah, it says loading, so this might work. Yeah, it finished. Look at that. 8-color demo. So that wasn't very fancy. Let's try something else. Invaders. Okay, loading Space Invaders. Nice. Alright, it loaded. S to start, right arrow, left arrow, space is shoot. Okay, this plays very nicely. It's pretty fast. So this is the first time I have tested a, let's call it, a real game on this machine. A game written in machine code. So there is a little bit of graphical glitches on the screen, as you can see, some lines here and there. So that must come from the image processor, not the actual signal, because it's artifacts. Yeah, I made the first level. Let's try another. I'm gonna play Formula 1. Loading Formula 1. Nice. So this seems to be pretty big, so it takes a while. It's actually 2.7 megabytes of audio data. However, the actual data size is probably maybe 16K. Alright, so in this game we can actually use a joystick and hacked to disk by DJ. Okay, let me try with a keyboard first. Okay, let's try Monaco Raceway. One lap. But that yellow on green, it's awful. Yeah, it works. Oops. Oops. I think maybe not accelerating all the way is a good idea. Okay, let me try and hook up the joystick. And I actually saw that someone has made an adapter for using regular Atari style keyboard, Atari style joysticks with a DB9 contact. Yeah, that fits right in there. Just need to load it again. Takes a couple of minutes. The joystick, the JS20, 2 joysticks, and yeah, it seems pretty lousy. It has 2 buttons, probably same button, both quite yellowed. Interesting that only one half of it is yellow, the other one is not. Alright, let's select the joystick then. Silverstone and 1 lap. Yeah, it works. Yeah, and the button is the same on both sides. Let me see if I can finish this. The turns are coming pretty quickly, and there's no brake. You can only let go of the throttle. Okay, I made it to the goal, and yeah, I used 8 minutes and 7 seconds. So these machines should be capable of playing a 1-bit music. I'm not really sure what that means, but gonna check that out. Okay, that sounds like 1-bit music. Probably pretty CPU intensive. Okay, distortion. Yeah, that was it. Let's check out another thing, a helicopter demo. Now, although this device can't play those VZ files directly, it has support for a lot of other machines like the Commodore machines, ZX Spectrum, Tandy, Dragon, all sorts. So it's a very handy device to have, and I have made a video about it where I tested it not long ago, so you can check out that if you want. Let's see now what this helicopter demo is. I'm really excited now. Lasersoft from 86. Okay, he's taking a piss. I guess pilots need to do that from time to time. Too bad with those artifacts, the distortion. Okay. Der Computer ist abgestürzt, so I think it crashed. Joystick, oh yes, we have. So this is another Invaders game. Okay. Seems to be the same, only that it has joystick support. Kamikaze. Is this another version of the Space Invaders? Yeah. I selected joystick, but yeah, and this uses the other joystick. Yeah, seems to be a variant of Space Invaders with bars between them. I wish they had used the black background instead of that horrible green. Alright, I'm gonna stop now. That was it for this video. The machine works just fine, and yeah, it's a fun little machine with its limitations, of course. Irritating green color always. So I want to continue this exploration in the next episode with exploring the floppy disk drive and the printer plotter. See how that works out. So that was it. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon. And a special thanks to my Patreons. Bye bye.